Hey all, welcome back. In the previous clip, I explained you about the mirror cube, how we can differentiate the sides, and also I said that this should be treated as a white in the 3 by 3, and then we should try to fix the white corner first, the white crosses and so on. So now I'm going to distort this. As you see, as I said, it looks to be very simple, but as you see the distortion happening, you will know why it is not an easy cube and not for the faint-hearted for sure, because at one point I was thinking that I'm not going to solve this when I started first, and I have no way to understand which directions, even though I started with so much of confidence with all the other previous Rubiks that I solved, that yeah, I will be able to do it. But then once I start discarding them, that's when I realized that it is definitely no mean task for us to understand the perspectives before we even try to attempt to solve it. So as you see, as we go through this scrambling, you will see why all my explanations about mirror cube being one of the tougher ones is justified gloriously. So you see that now you have no way to identify any center for that matter, and there is no white that you can see. It's golden color all over the place with only the shapes and orientations differing. So you have no way to easily solve this unless you have a strategy. So the strategy that you're going to do is simple. So as I said, if you remember the cube that I showed you, the centers, they will not change, and the distance between the centers in the form of x-axis, y-axis, z-axis, they are also the same. So we're going to target for two things to start with the first step. The first step is to identify the center and the white cross, like what you do here, a white cross. It is not easy again because here you have a color to say which is the color, but which is the piece, at least with the one which has white on the top, and if even if you rotate it somewhere, you know where the white comes in, right? But in this case it is not easy, so I would target the center pieces which has the z axis. For example, if you see the z, the height is small, I would target those and try to align them with the centers first. That is my first step, because logically speaking, there is, see, if you see this, now you see the color, you see the width, see it is now aligned, right? If you see the width, the height is now matched, so I know that this is by some way related to a white center, this being the white piece, because the z, the height is small, and this should form the first layer, and I see that this is matching with the white, which is the center. But this in turn is not matching. If you see this, the center is not matching with the height. It is tough if you don't get the perspective clear, because right now this is aligned but this is not aligned, right? Maybe I don't know whether the light is sufficient for you. Give me a minute. I just put a temporary light for you to see this. If you see this, the height is not matching with the center on the top, but this center is aligned. Now you look at this and then see where we can align this. So what you're going to do is, I'm going to try to rotate this and see where your centers align. And here it is. You see this? Now this center is matching because the height is the same, right? You see the height is the same, and this center is also matching because the length and the the stretch of x, y, z, all the three coordinates, it's matching. So I would start with this as your first solved centerpiece of the white cross. Okay, so if you see this is the first edge that aligns with the white cross, and your white piece is here. So keeping this, we should look at, so it's more of understanding the x, y, z coordinate and see that the center is aligned. So now you see this center and this center is aligned, this and this is aligned. Now look at the other centers. There is one here, so let us see if this matches with any of the other centers. Yes, it does here, but by doing this we have actually distorted the other center. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to hide this out and bring that back. So now your center is back and this hidden center is now up. So see, as I said, you cannot see it easily unless you physically touch it and then see the difference. Because it's golden color, the height should match, and this height is matching here again, right? And this height is matching here, so they are touching at the same level and length. So now I have actually given the white cross. For the white cross, I have solved two of the edges, assuming that this is the white center and this is one of the orange or green or blue. These are the two centers that they are aligned with. Now let's look for the other two. Again, we need to look for the center which has the width less. So let's assume this. So see here, now this is now aligned, but this is not aligned. The length is different, right? So there is a black portion that you are seeing. So we should look at where this will align, and you will see that it is matching with this. So this is your third, but again, because you did this, you have distorted this. So what you need to do is you need to hide this, bring this back, and then hide it, bring it up back. Now you have actually solved, or you have aligned three of the white cross edges, right? This is the second one which is matching, and this is the third one that is matching. So now we are left with one more piece on this place that should solve, and let's see which will go here. You have to look for the center that is see here. If you see this is the thickness of this and this are the same, so this should be on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this here and I'm going to rotate it here. So if you see this, it's already showing you the indication that it is matching with the center. So if I rotate it, now you see that your white cross is already formed. The key important note that you should note is the centers should match. If your white cross is formed but your center is not matching, like this, for example, if you say this, there is a gap, this is not matching, right? Which means you are aligning either an orange or a green like this. You are thinking that it is solved. This is not aligned. You should be matching with this. So the best way to do that is look at solving the center. So what you need to do, you should bring it back to see that every top and the center, see the top and the center portion should match with the length and the width. So you can physically do this when you have the piece in your hand. You can physically touch and then they go without any interruption. So now you have actually solved the white cross. It is not easy. I again and again tell this. It looks to be easy by the way I do it, but when you look into it, when you scramble it, it is not easy for you to visualize this and then get the pieces in the correct position. And without having this piece in the right position, you are not going to solve this. So my request is, please try it out and then make sure that the Z layer, which is your actually the white on the top, that has to be fixed first, and then we can look at the corners. So my next step is going to be, now that I have aligned the center and the top layer for the white cross, I have made a white cross, I am going to go for the corners. But before that, I would request you to try and do this correctly. The length should match and the height should match for all the centers and the top. Okay, with that I'm going to take a small break, and then my next step is to solve the corners. Thank you.